which is to do with, how I think you're probably the first person who's actually mentioned this in I think on YouTube, is to talk about that the whole pattern in the crown. So I'm assuming that, considering you've obviously been talking about it, that's how you, when you do the graphs, that you do it in a whole sort of pattern.
Yeah, of course. That's how it should be done in the crown area. Because if you do not, the flow of hair will be jeopardized and it will look very abnormal and unnatural. And there'll be hair rising up where it shouldn't be rising up, and your original hair will be down and this will be up. Because the flow of hair, the direction of hair planted, will not match the direction of existing hair, pre-existing hair. There will be a conflict and it will look pretty unnatural at the back. So we have to follow the existing wool pattern so that naturalness is maintained.
Okay, no worries. I knew that that's probably the case, but I just wanted to be absolutely sure. Just for my peace of mind, I guess. Just wanted to be absolutely 100%, but that's exactly how it's done. And the other thing I had was, like, I'm not sure they can see it from here, but my hairline, I'm not sure you can see clearly, but it's a lot sharper this way.
Yeah.
And it hasn't gone behind as much in comparison to, if you can see that it's not a straight line, like it goes behind
Of course.
a bit on this side.
Of course.
And what I was thinking of is that, even though my idea of what exactly I want to do down the track in terms of how I want to keep my hair is, I think I sent you a photo of Antonio Conte. So Antonio Conte is a very well-known football manager.
All right.
And he's had, I think, 2 transplants, and he keeps the hair that way, and that's how I want to keep it. But just for future, if I want to keep it, I have the flexibility to be able to have different types of hairstyles. I was wondering if this could be just straighter in comparison to what I have over here, and it just goes straight.
Yes.
So just this little space over here, so that the hairline is just a straight line.
How old are you?
I'm 39.
39. So you need to know that your grade of baldness right now is progressing towards grade 7, which clearly is seen in the picture from the sides. So a person who's grade 7 and who's just 39, he has still about 10 years, 15 years of baldness to go. If, God forbid, a lot more baldness happens at the back, a low hairline will not go with that level of baldness, because nobody has a perfect hairline and is bald at the back. So it will be surely a giveaway that you got a procedure done. So I'm not sure what this soccer team, Italian team manager grade is, but from the front he looks pretty natural. I don't know how it is in his crown area. But for your case, if you lower the hairline a lot with your existing pattern of baldness, with future progression of baldness, because baldness will progress no matter what. Even if you take finasteride, it's just going to slow it down. It's not going to stop it. It's according to your history, family history. So if that happens, it will look pretty artificial. And that's the reason probably why the Hassan and Wong gave you this hairline that they have given you. Not for any other reason, but that to conserve grafts. And even if you bald further, we have not burnt our bridges. We still have more grafts available for filling up the crown area. And secondly, if we don't have, it doesn't look unnatural.
Okay, because this side could go backwards as well, like in the future. Like if it does, then I think it just, I get the hairline just goes backwards, but at least I won't be bald at the back, in the crown area at least. And that actually brings me to the third question, which is the finasteride. Because, to be very frank with you, the first procedure that I got done, I contemplated taking finasteride, but I didn't. I didn't take it because I was younger, and back then people didn't really know exactly how things are going to be with finasteride. There seems to be a lot more information on the internet, on YouTube. I decided against it purely because I just wasn't sure that what could happen. And I was younger, I didn't have a family, So I was like, hang on a second, am I going to do something that's going to jeopardize me having a family, you know?
Of course.
So at the end of the day, we have a wonderful daughter now, and I'm comfortable, nice. I guess, in the sense that I think I can take a risk. But what's your view on finasteride? Should I start taking it now?
When do you plan to get a procedure done?
In April.
If you plan to take finasteride in the long term, you can start taking finasteride now, because if you take finasteride, we'll be able to get many good quality grafts, and the total number of grafts, the graft count, will be higher than if you do not take finasteride. People who are still sitting on the fence as far as finasteride is concerned, they're not sure whether they'll be able to continue it for a long time, they should stop finasteride 1 month before the procedure. Because if with finasteride we'll be tricked into believing that all the hair are anagen hair, and if we move them and then you stop taking finasteride, they're going to revert back to their original miniaturized state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a decision that I guess I need to make, whether I'm actually gonna take finasteride long term.
Yeah. And another.
Yeah. I should start taking it now and keep taking it until 4 months until I have the procedure.
And another thing, everybody cannot take finasteride, and nor do I suggest everybody to take finasteride. Your total testosterone level should be normal. So you should get your total testosterone level checked in the morning at around 8 or 9, because that's the time when it peaks. So if you take this level anytime later in the day, the levels will be lower. So we'll not get the exact amount of total testosterone circulating in your bloodstream. So get it done in the morning between 8 and 9, total testosterone level. I will send you a note which test it is, so that you don't forget. And if it is normal, then we will start you on finasteride, not otherwise. And otherwise, are you healthy? No other medical problem like diabetes?
No, pretty healthy. Yeah. No conditions whatsoever.
Yeah, and sexual health is fine? No problem?
No.
Okay, no problem. Fine. Then you're an ideal candidate, provided your total testosterone level is within normal range.
I think I should get it checked, because I think I've never got it checked. So I think it'd be a good idea to just get it checked. Yes, what does my testosterone level looks like? Yeah. Is it? I mean, what's detrimental to a hair transplant? Is it lower or higher?
A low testosterone level tells us that a person has. See, testosterone level has no indication on the level of baldness. Even with a little bit of androgen hormone, if you're susceptible to it, if your follicles are primed due to genetics to deteriorate with the insult of DHT, they will go away even with less quantity. It is not an indicator of your level of baldness or things to come in future. Why we do it is to rule out those people, which is large number. 40% people have erectile dysfunction, as it is in the normal population, 25 to 35 years age. So this is a large number. So we have to weed out these people who are teetering towards erectile dysfunction, who have a level which is just on borderline. And since when you start finasteride, the hormonal level gets a little upset. So these people who are borderline have manifest erectile dysfunction. So once we rule out this, and if your otherwise sexual health is fine and you're otherwise healthy, there is no problem. I haven't seen erectile dysfunction in people who are properly selected for finasteride in the long term. My patients are taking finasteride 10-15 years. No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have to weed them out. Okay. You have to weed the non-responders and people who are likely to get side effects. And there are ways of taking finasteride. I have made a video on 5 strategies to use while taking finasteride, so that you take the lowest possible dose, get maximum effect, and least amount of side effects. So that's very important to follow when you're taking, I'll send it to you. When you're taking finasteride in the long term, you have to be vigilant and stay in touch with your doctor.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I go and get the testosterone levels checked.
Yes.
Because I think it's going to be important.
Exactly.
As part of the equation. Because if there is a problem, then I don't think we'll be able to proceed further.
Yeah.
Do you think that it could be
chances
that,
Yeah, if you are not a candidate for finasteride, and if your baldness is the way it is in your case, going on to grade 7, and with your objectives of lowering hairline and all that stuff, I don't think it is a wise decision to proceed further with a hair transplant, because no amount of hair transplant, no amount of hair will do you any good in the long term if you do not take care of the basic cause of baldness, that is controlled DHT through finasteride taken orally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, makes sense, because that's probably the reason why I'm having to now look at a second round of transplant.
Yes.
My first one was it was good for a few years, but then obviously the hair started to
See,
grow
that's what
afterwards.
because you never took care of the DHT. You never lowered the DHT insult on your hair.
Yes.
So that's the reason it continued to bald, and it will continue to thin even now from here, the previous procedure.
Look, what I'll do, the first thing I'll do is get an appointment and get a test done.
Yeah.
Could you just tell me the technical term of the technical term of it? And I'll go and actually get that.
Yeah, I will send it to you in writing, the name of the test. Get it done in the morning between 8 and 9, because that is the time when your androgens, the testosterone levels, are at a peak in the morning.
Okay.
I'll just send it to you.
I'll do that. I'll get that checked. And then I can come back to you and report it, because out here in Australia, I'm pretty sure it takes a bit of time before they actually give you the test results.
Yeah.
Over here, things are a bit slower.
Yeah.
So I'll go and get that checked, and I'll come back to you and report to you. I can give you the report.
Yeah.
And then you can tell me if there's an opportunity, because I'm keen to keep the hair and improve my health. Because it's starting to go quite a bit, and trying to make it a bit uncomfortable, and be really conscious.
Yeah.
So it's something of quite. It's quite important to me. Let's put it that way. Like, it's quite important to make sure that we are I'm on top of this now.
Yes.
I've ignored it for a fair bit, but now let's just take the next steps and see where we go.
Of course. So I'll wait for your test report to come in, and that is important. That will be the deciding factor on how to proceed further. Because a hair transplant without a plan is of no use. The hair we transplant will go away in no time, in the blink of an eye, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough that Hassan and Wong never asked me to get a test done. They never requested any kind of assessment, but I'm glad that we're getting it done, because it makes sense. It makes sense if there's a problem and it's only going to amount to issues down the track, and I'm not going to get a satisfactory result, then what's the point?
Yeah,
I might have to look into some other ways.
Of course.
And maybe look at a hairpiece or something like that, which I absolutely don't want to do. It's like in my head, like I don't want to do it. But let's see. Let's take it step by step.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anything else you want to ask?
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Okay.
No, that was it.
That's all right. So we can once you've got the test done, total testosterone, we can again come online and discuss it, say a day after tomorrow or so.
Yeah, no worries. I'll go and get the test done tomorrow morning.
Yeah. So
I'll get it out of the way and make sure that I'm on top of it.
Yeah.
And as I said, I'm pretty confident over here. Things take a bit longer. Like there's a lot of good doctors in India, but in Australia there's not a lot of good doctors, and things do take a bit of time. So I personally believe that the test results will probably come in about 2-3 days. 2-3 days. Okay. So we can catch up after that. Get the test done tomorrow. I think by Thursday, Friday, I should have the test results. Fine, we'll do that. We'll have a follow-up call after it does come. Okay, fantastic. Just send me the technical term, and I'm sending it. I'm sending it to you just now. Thank you. All right. Bye bye. Appreciate it. Bye bye. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Hi. So we just discussed that you are a case of grade 6 going on to grade 7 male pattern baldness with a strong history of baldness in the family, and that you underwent a hair transplant in Vancouver with a well-known hair transplant clinic. Following the hair transplant, which was done for the hairline, for the top of the head and the crown area, you were not advised oral finasteride, nor were any baseline tests done. And now that you wish another fill-up procedure, since your hair transplant over the years has deteriorated because you were not on oral finasteride,
So now you wish to get more hair placed along the hairline, lower the hairline a bit and blunt your receding temporoparietal angles, and also fill in the crown area of the back. So we had discussed that if you have very lofty objectives, and to make them real, to make them see the light of day, we will need to see whether you will be a candidate for long-term oral finasteride or not. Because if you are not a candidate for long-term finasteride, then if we allow your baldness to progress further than what it is presently, and you go on to grade 7, which is evident from your pictures, then a low hairline will look very odd. Nobody has a low hairline and is bald all over other areas. Nobody with grade 7 has a low hairline. It look out of place. In fact, you're looking much better than it would if we lower your hairline and you don't take oral finasteride. So that is it. We should first get total testosterone level checked in the morning between 8 and 9 a.m. because that is a time due to the circadian rhythm that testosterone levels are at their peak, and that is the time to test them. I understand that in Australia it takes time for results, lab work results to come in, but that's it. We cannot proceed further because if we proceed without a plan, the same thing will happen what has happened to you now. You will continue to thin and continue to bald, and the goalpost will keep changing every few years. So I'll await your results. Have a nice day. Thank you for the call. Bye.